is the National News Desk, America's News. Now, I'm Dee Gatton, and the search for Nancy Guthrie continues tonight after the person detained by law enforcement was let go. Ryan Smith at the Live Desk with what he's saying, Ryan, about being questioned and also where investigators are looking now.
The man at the center of last night's questioning, what many thought could be a major breakthrough in this case, he is now speaking out, saying he had absolutely nothing to do with the abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie.
Do you feel you're owed an apology?
Yeah, something I didn't do, yeah. Especially the way they acted. I mean, I know it's their job to do what they're doing, but to an innocent man, wow. And they didn't even, I think they don't even have evidence against me, so I don't even know how they got to me.
Investigators released him after several hours overnight. They haven't said yet what led them to stop him. About an hour south of Tucson, Carlos says he's simply a delivery driver who at times works in the Tucson area. Now tonight, the FBI, as you see him here, they are intensifying that search north of Guthrie's home, focusing on multiple roadways across the Catalina foothills. And the New York Post here reporting tonight that agents here did in fact find a black glove today. The person seen in this newly released doorbell camera video yesterday is in fact wearing black gloves. You see it there. The Pima County Sheriff says since the release of this footage by the FBI, they have now received more than 4,000 calls to that tip line just in the past 24 hours.
Nancy Guthrie's mysterious disappearance has reignited the conversation surrounding ransom kidnappings. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team. And as we look back in history, there have, of course, been several notable cases, extortion cases, here in the U.S. and beyond. What stands out to you?
So there was one that I found that was one of the largest ransom payments ever reported. It was in 1983 when a Hong Kong billionaire, his name's Teddy Wang, he was kidnapped by organized criminals. Reports at the time indicated that around $11 million was paid for his release. And what's even crazier about this whole story was Wang was then kidnapped again in 1990, and his wife reportedly paid around $34 million for his release, but he was never seen again. That's all according to the New York Times. So that case is really interesting.
Another interesting case and famous case I think many of us think of is the Patty Hearst case as well, right?
Yeah, Patty Hearst is a big one. 1974, she was abducted by a radical group that demanded millions in food distribution programs, which is interesting. Her family provided about $2 million worth of aid, and then the case became even more shocking when Hearst actually appeared to join at least, the group in a bank robbery. One of the even more infamous cases happened a year before that. All this type of stuff went down in the 1970s when John Paul Getty III, the teenage grandson of an oil billionaire, was abducted. Kidnappers demanded $17 million. His grandfather initially refused to pay, and then after a part of the teen's ear was mailed to a newspaper, reduced ransom of about $2.2 million was ultimately paid to get him back.
Just gruesome details. Emma,
yeah.
Thank you. For more on this Fact Check team topic, including links to Emma's sources, scan the QR code or visit thenationaldesk.com.
Major breakthroughs in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance this morning. Overnight, police did detain a person for questioning in connection to this case after a traffic stop. And just hours earlier, the FBI released haunting new surveillance video. The footage chilling, and still this morning, Nancy is nowhere to be found. Joining us right now with the latest developments in this investigation, former FBI special agent in charge and head of the Chicago PD, Jody Weiss. I want to get right into it, Jody. We want to start with this latest person that was taken into custody after a traffic stop. It went further than that, though. They also searched his house and another car. What were your thoughts about this? When you heard they had detained someone during a traffic stop, does that mean they were surveilling someone and then just decided to take them into custody?
Well, Jan, I think they were waiting for a search warrant. They wanted to have the papers so they could go in and then search his house and then search his car. So it had to be timed properly. I'm sure they had eyes on him, but this was waiting for the paper to go so they could actually execute a search warrant, a court-ordered search warrant.
We know he was a delivery driver, but we also know he was released and he talked to the media. You listened to the conversation that he had with the media earlier this morning. What was your thoughts?
He seemed very forthcoming. He basically said, yeah, they thought I matched the description. They thought it was my eyes. He goes, I gave the guys my phone. I think his mother was very cooperative. So he was very forthcoming, and hopefully we'll can wash him out right away when they verify the data on his phone.
Yeah, and you say we're going to see a lot more of these kinds of arrests perhaps happening in the coming days, perhaps?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of leads coming in from that video, and people are going to respond to those, and they're going to go out and check them out. So we're going to have a lot of incidents go out like this. We check the individual. It turns out it's not the person, but let's hope that based upon this new video release, we get some leads that actually lead to the recovery and safe return of Nancy Guthrie.
Yeah, and we also know they're doing a little bit more than just, oh, you kind of look like this person that was on this video. Because you just mentioned that's what he told, you know, the media, that he looked like the person that might have been on camera there. Speaking of which, the Guthrie family says they do not recognize who this individual is. Someone does, though, but you said what stood out to you was that this person acted alone. Why did that stand out to you, and what else about this video can give investigators clues?
You know, the reason it stood out to me, Jen, they were going after, or he was going after, an adult woman. 84 years old, frail physical condition. Still, that's not a 50-year-old child that you could go in, snatch, pick up, and get out. So I thought it was interesting going there by himself. But this video showed us so much. First off, this guy was a bumbler. He was not a sophisticated operator. He had no plan for the camera, none whatsoever. He's wearing a pistol in a manner I have never seen, after 30 years of being around firearms, anybody wear a firearm like that. So I don't know what was going on. But from a clue perspective, look what he gave us. He gave us basically his height. He gave us his gait, how he walked. He's got eyes now, and you think, well, what's that going to do? Well, now they can get other video, and with AI, you can get some very accurate way to compare a video to there as compared to have to a video at a Circle K. But best of all, leads are going to be pouring in, because if you know me, I may have a mask on, but if you know me, you're going to be able to say, hey, that's Jody Weiss. I can tell just from his eyes, his build, how he walks. So they're going to get a lot of leads from this.
Plus, the video is pretty clear. You can see what he's wearing, and you said the backpack will be pivotal in this case. Why is that?
Well, I say that only because it's a known. Now they have something to compare with other systems. The FBI is very good about having massive databases of everything. So they can start looking and find out, okay, it's this type of backpack. Where was it purchased? Is it sold locally at a particular store in Tucson? With AI, they can go through massive amounts of video now and compare and see if somebody matches that may have bought that backpack. So again, it's another clue. It's kind of like the shoes with O.J. Simpson case. They were able to be compared based upon a massive database maintained by authorities.
Jody, this footage was only recovered after a deep dive into back-end systems because there was no cloud storage. How unusual was it to recover this video?
Jan, that was remarkable work. They went out and got search warrants. They cooperated with Google. Everybody was working together. They were able to recover some of the information and data that was on the camera. And from what I've heard lately, this guy breaking the camera may have caused all this, because from what I understand on these Nest cameras, once it breaks, it freezes. So it's not overwriting itself, because Nancy Guthrie didn't have a subscription. So I thought it was just remarkable to be able to recover with this level of clarity this video, because this could be a huge development. It is a huge development in this case.
The fact that we've not seen any proof of life and the fact that those deadlines have now passed, how does that change investigative priorities?
They really don't. The number one priority is to try to save human life. So they're going to be working really hard. Now more leads are going to be coming in. So I think they're just going to keep working hard and try to find her and follow the evidence as it leads them.
Very quickly, a lot of folks at home might be watching this and going, okay, if you're ever in a situation like this, you're in your house at night, you see something on your doorbell camera, what do you do? Do you try and hide? Do you grab a weapon? What should you do?
I'd encourage everybody to have a plan before that ever happens. You know, if nothing else, have a safe room that you can get into. Keep your old phone. Don't turn it in, because even if it's an old phone, you can always call 911. So kind of have a ready room. Could be a back bedroom, wherever you could get, where you might have a flashlight, you have a firearm, you have a phone. Call 911. Let them know what's going on, because then there's a recording, and let the intruder know what you're going to do if he enters your bedroom. But have a plan in place. You don't want to try to work this out as somebody's breaking into your house.
So you should yell to the intruder, I'm calling 911, I have a gun. You should say that right off the top to the intruder.
Exactly. Again, with 911, it's a recording. So if you have to use deadly force, you will know they can support your argument that this individual had the ability to hurt you, the opportunity, and the motive. And you've got a recording right there with law enforcement. So definitely call the police.
Former FBI Special Agent in Charge and head of the Chicago PD, Jody Weiss, thanks for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great day.
You too.